Continue our study in lesson 16 for today's lesson. We're going to focus specifically on kind of the more difficult parts of simplifying variable expressions. We're going to continue to do what we learned in the initial portion, in which you take a variable expression, something that might look like this, and if it gives you the numbers to evaluate, you plug in those numbers for the variables so that it turns into a numeric expression. Now, in taking it to the next level, you're going to run into problems that have more difficult types of expressions or rational expressions. Here you're going to have a fraction bar. You might see some of these in your IXL activity, specifically having numbers, decimals, fractions, or even exponents that are being thrown in. Today we're going to take a look at our practice problems from the end of our lesson and look at what that actually means and how it would maybe change how we go about solving these expressions. Just because it's more difficult or it's the next level up doesn't mean that we change the fundamentals that we've learned to this point. Let's jump into it. Letter G. You've given a variable expression. You're told that those variables can be evaluated by plugging in those numbers. I plugged in the numbers for B, which was 25, and A, which was -2, and have rewritten the expression. That's step one, regardless of where we're working to solve and simplify these variable expressions. Next, I need to follow my order of operations. Here in a rational expression, I've got this fraction bar that separates the numerator and denominator. So I'm going to solve the numerator first. In this case, I don't have any exponents. I don't have any other decimals besides that fraction bar. That's the only part of the rational expression that I have here. I'm going to go about solving it in the numerator first, then the denominator. Here in the numerator, I've got inside of parentheses -2 and -4. -2 minus -4, they're two negative numbers, so they have the same sign. I'm going to add those two together. Their absolute value keep the same sign. 2 plus 4 is 6, -6. So when you add these together, -6. Now I've got -25 times -6. Two negatives multiplied by each other is going to be a positive number. 6 times 25 is 150. I'll rewrite what I have in the numerator and in the denominator. I got a positive 150 plus 25. That's going to give me 175 over 25. 175 divided by 25 gives me a positive value of 7. In letter H, we'll put together all the pieces that we learned from lesson 16 and use this to help us solve all the same type of problems in our IXL activity. Here we have a variable expression that has been written into numeric form. So I've already taken what was the variable expression, plugged in the values because it said wherever there's an x that equals -4, wherever there's a y that equals -2. So I've rewritten the expression. That's always step one. Next, I'm going to go and solve this using my order of operations. Here I've got a rational expression that has exponents and a fraction bar that separates these into two different parts. So I'm going to solve those exponents first in the numerator and then solve the denominator and combine both of those pieces together. Here I've got -4 squared, which means -4, which is the negative inside the parentheses, is included. -4 times -4 is going to give me positive 16. That's going to subtract the value of what I have here, -4 times parentheses or absolute value symbol for -2. So I know that this is a positive 2. Change this to a positive 2. I've got -4 times positive 2, which is still going to be negative because I have one negative. That's -8. Two negatives turns into a positive. 16 plus 8 is going to give me 24 in my numerator. In the denominator, I've got -4 to the third power, which means -4 times -4 times -4. I've got three negatives, so I know my answer is going to be negative overall. But I've got 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is 64. Now, can I reduce this? Of course. 24 and 64 are both divisible by 8. 24 divided by 8 is going to give me 3. 64 divided by 8 is going to give me 8. And I have my negative answer. Now the next part of our second portion in lesson 16, after you've watched Mr. Shane's video, is to go to IXL B.7. If I open that up, it should bring you to a page that says B.7, evaluate variable expressions involving rational numbers. Let me move this over so that you can see this portion that we're working on, in which we're going to take the variables that they give us and then plug in those values. Here with rational numbers, you're going to have different types of decimals, fractions, and maybe even exponents to use to solve these. When you're multiplying by decimals, you have to remember to include the decimal place in the value that you're multiplying, or to count the number of decimal places when you've multiplied those. So you have 9.7 times 1.8, you're going to get 1746 if you multiplied all that out. But because there's two decimal places here, the decimal needs to be moved over, so it's 17.46 as our answer. Okay, so the first couple are going to be multiplying by those decimal values. Make sure that you move that decimal over and have the appropriate number of decimal places in your answer. Now, if on the teacher page I jump a level to show you what's coming next, you're going to have, again, variable expressions where the numbers get plugged in and then you solve using your order of operations. Outside of those basic decimal point values, you're going to jump into what would be the exponent and or fraction bar portions of our rational expression, which you would write these out. My advice is to write these on a piece of paper. And then you would rewrite the expression in numeric form, so every time there's an h, you would have 4. So it'd be 4 times j squared, negative 2 squared, 4 times negative 2 squared, minus 4, minus negative 2, divided by negative 2. Once you have that all written out, you can go about solving it. Here's the pinnacle of what we learned in lesson 16. This comes from example 4 and from our lesson practice problems G and H. This should show that you've got this level of mastery accomplished when it comes to evaluating variable expressions with rational numbers. God's blessings and good luck.